Okay, good morning, everyone. It's 8:30 a.m. and this is the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors meeting for August 9th. I'm still waiting for Supervisor Drish to join us. I have not seen her yet. We do have Supervisor Sandquist on with us by Zoom this morning. So we'll try to give Supervisor Drish a call first, just to make sure that she can be on. Yeah, are you able to get on? Well, try to do it again, okay? Thank you. We'll give it just a couple more minutes. We could move ahead though with approval of the minutes from the previous meeting, which was July 25th. I'll motion that we accept the minutes as written.
So move.
Okay.
Or second.
Second. I have a motion by Hamilton, a second by Drish to approve the minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Second was by Sandquist.
Yeah, second by Sandquist, sorry. I guess we're gonna have to try to get her on through that phone over there. I don't know. I don't like doing that because it's not gonna be heard very well. Would you give her a call? I have her number. But if you've got it, it'd be better. That way I don't have to say it across the room. Okay, so we'll move on then to meet with our county engineer, Dwayne.
Good morning, supervisors.
Morning, Dwayne.
We're still working away on, or actually Cedar Falls Construction's working away on the 32nd Street patching project. Patching portion of the patching overlay rehab. They should be working on that.
Hang on a second, Abby. I need to turn my volume up a little bit. Okay, we're good.
Slight pause while we wait for Supervisor Drish
Okay,
to join us.
thanks, Susie. I'm not sure whether it's going to be picked up by Zoom or not.
Yeah, I can hear her just fine.
Table. Are you still there, Susie? Susie, are you still there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. We'll give this a shot. Okay, so Dwayne, please continue. I'm
All right,
sorry.
yeah. The patch portion of the 32nd Street rehab is still ongoing. They should complete next week, Mother Nature willing. And our crew is wrapping up their open cut repairs on the corrugated pipe running underneath Libertyville Road today. They will still be working on that road, lining the pipe later today and then doing patching next week. So it will be open to traffic, but we'll have flaggers. So it's still going to be somewhat inconvenient, but you will be able to get through.
Good.
I was speaking, I've been investigating drone surveys as a way to do a lower cost topos of some of our roads. We're looking at doing rehab work as well as safety improvements for shoulders and people running off the road, making things a little less likely to overturn. And I've contracted with Howard R. Green to do drone surveys on 2 sections of road. The Salina Road, which will be just under 10 miles for less than $10,000, and then Libertyville Road, $6,000. They should start those later this fall. It'll allow us to bring that information directly into our tracking system and get a detailed model built for construction and design. See, the contract rock should complete this week. They're working on Peach Avenue right now, and they'll have that buttoned up either late today or early day tomorrow, we hope. So then that'll wrap that up, and then the crews will go back to their normal maintenance duties, patching, grading, shouldering, all that type of stuff. And that's really all I have for update on what county's road crews are doing.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
B, you had something?
I just said thank you.
Okay. All right, we'll move on then to discuss and consider Nutmeg Estates subdivision. We have an audit letter from the auditor that says that the title or name of the subdivision is acceptable. So, and then we have a copy of that. I believe this is it here. You've reviewed it.
I've reviewed the layout. I haven't seen the complete set of plans,
Okay.
but
I will give these to you then.
I have
right now.
discussed the requirements with the developer. And it sounds like they're on board with what the county requires. So
Okay.
I think it's if they're willing to do what we want them to do. And
Hey, Dwayne, what all are you asking them to do?
any of the roads they put in will need to be constructed to county standards. 27-foot road top, 3-to-1 ditches, gravel base, and then they need to provide a minimum of a stabilized base and chip seal surface on, it would be Walton Road, from the entrance to their subdivision over to Nutmeg, where we'll be doing the auto seal project next spring.
And then who will maintain that?
Their road, those will remain private roads.
Okay, okay. So the road will be going like from the middle of the property over to Nutmeg then?
They'll have their subdivision road will outlet on Walton. I believe there's a driveway there now where the existing houses access the road. They'll just upgrade that to the county width and dimensions. So I think roughly a quarter mile of Walton Road will end up getting chip seal if they're at the developer's expense to get from their entrance over to Nutmeg.
Hey, excuse me a minute. Darren, somebody has a lot of noise going on in the background.
That's Susie on the other phone on speaker. So we want to still have her on and hear it, but I'm sorry about that.
Okay. So the public can still use that Walton Road, is that correct?
Yeah, Walton
Okay.
Road is a public street. It will just be improved so the increased traffic does not cause further, increased deterioration.
Okay.
All right. So I would look for an approval then for the change to Nutmeg Estates.
I will make a motion to approve this as long as it,
I will second that motion.
Okay.
and I
have
was
a
gonna say,
motion.
as long as it meets the engineer's standards.
Yep. Okay, so I have a motion from Sandquist, as long as this meets the engineer's standards. I have a second from Drish. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, we'll move on to discuss and consider secondary road department fund transfer. We have a motion in front of us that says that the following amount be authorized to be transferred during the fiscal year July 1, 2022 to June 30th, 2023. Transfers are to be made monthly and shall not exceed in total for the year $1,200,000 from the Rural Basic Fund to the Secondary Road Fund. This is something that we had in our budget for this fiscal year. This is something that we do on an annual basis. So do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve this.
Okay, I have a motion from Drish, a second from Sandquist. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, motion carries. All right, so we will move on then to discuss and consider quotes on the Packwood grader shed. So let's see if we have those in here with us. We have an estimate from, I can't read.
Royal
that. It's-
Flush Construction.
Okay, Royal Flush Construction for $33,000, or excuse me, total of $49,490.55. So Dwayne, explain a little bit more to us.
This is part of our grader shed upgrade plan that we've been working on since, actually before I got here, but it's continuation. The Packwood grader shed is not falling over, but it's not a long site above that. So this is the next one on our schedule to be replaced. So we went out for quotes from Royal Flush and then also Cleary Building.
Right, I just see that. Cleary's estimate is $51,992.
That is correct.
So,
So they're both equivalent bids for the same
Similar type
material,
of
same
building.
product.
Mhm.
And Royal Flush was roughly $2,500 less expensive. Plus, on the bright side, they're also locally owned and not a kind of a satellite location. Done business with them before. We're very comfortable with their level of skill and craftsmanship. So we would like to accept their quote,
okay,
giving them the authorization to proceed. We have this in our budget.
Motion to approve.
okay, I have a motion from Sandquist to approve bid from Royal Flush Construction of $49,490.55. Do I have a second?
I second that.
Okay, I have a second on that. All those from Drish, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed, motion carries, and you'll contact Royal Flush and take care of it from here, correct?
Yes, we shall do that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dwayne. Okay, we'll move on to discuss and consider certification and step increases for secondary road employees. We have, be it resolved by the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors that the following wage rate and classification for secondary road department full-time employees shown below be effective August 16th, 2022. Troy Bisgard, Quinn Daniel, and Ryan Metz. So do I have a motion to approve this wage increase?
So is this your normal? Tell us
It's
about
It's Ryan Metz's anniversary, and he happens
Okay,
to, he goes up from a step E to a step F.
okay,
And Quinn and Troy, I'm just on that they have their weed certification, so we're catching them up on that, and I'll pay the 6 weeks that we missed out of my pocket for missing them.
so did they do that on their own?
They've had the certifications. Troy, as part of his duties doing signs, also does a lot of the weed spraying.
Okay, and that's right, we need that.
Okay. So I've got a motion from Drish. Do I have a second? I would go ahead and second that. All those in favor of the resolution for pay increases for secondary road personnel, say aye.
Aye.
D? D, did you say aye?
Yeah.
I didn't hear you. All right. All those opposed? All right, we've got approval on that. Okay, we'll move on to discuss and consider resolution hiring Alexis Marie Nace as a correctional officer for the sheriff's office. Barb.
I'll get out of work. Okay, thanks, man.
Welcome.
Yes, well,
Thank you, thank you. So yeah, I'm here to introduce Alexa Nace as our newly hired correctional officer.
okay.
A couple of things about Alexa. She grew up in Ottumwa. She's a graduate of Eddyville, Fremont, Lakeford, with a degree in clinical lab sciences from Indian Hills. She has prior experience in Waffle County Jail, and she lives in Richland. She'll begin her duties on August 16th.
Okay. All right. Nice having you on board with us. Appreciate it. This is just a replacement for another employee. You're
Correct.
filling a position.
Filling a position that's open.
Okay, so do I have a motion to hire our new correctional officer beginning August 8th with the beginning salary of $38,301.76?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, I have a motion from Sandquist and a second from Drish. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. All right. Okay, we'll move on then to discuss and consider salaries for public health employees. Chris, you're here with us.
Yes.
All right. You want to explain?
Sure, the Board of Health had recommended a salary increase in February, March. That was not implemented due to some budgetary changes. At their special meeting on, the Board of Health special meeting on June 23rd, it was voted on and passed that they wanted to restore those salary increases that had not been moved forward with. So as administrator, I had not moved forward with that process due to the potential of hiring an office manager. So at our board meeting on July, what was the date, 21st, the Board of Health decided to table the hiring of an office manager until we start to work on the FY24 budget, which will be, November, December, January. So with that being said, we're moving forward with salary increases for the staff members.
Is this the matrix thing that Washington County?
No, it's not the matrix. This is a salary increase for all of us to be competitive with nursing salaries throughout the county, and in particular throughout private sector salaries. This is not to be compared with travelers' salaries. No.
Yeah.
They did adopt the matrix, but the matrix is going to be utilized as a tool for budgeting practices for FY24. So this salary increase is outside of that.
So can you go through this? Because I haven't received anything on this. So,
I sent you all the information. I sent you all the attachments for the Board of Health meeting. So.
right, that was before that, but I haven't heard anything since then. So this is from that. How much is it? And did you compare to like-sized counties? Because I want to do that. And plus,
There's money in the budget. There's money in the budget to move forward, and this was a Board of Health agenda item. So we're gonna, according to the Board of Health, this is no different than what just transpired with the salaries to be increased in another department. If you have any questions, I would direct you to Pat McAvan. I don't know if he's on this call right now or not.
No, we do not have anybody from the county attorney's office on with us.
Okay, and it's to be retroactive to July 1st.
let's table this for a week or two
Yeah.
until we can get Pat on.
I don't, as a department manager, there's really no need. There's money in the budget. The authorization comes from the Board of Health. There's money in the budget. The office
Hey,
manager.
Chris,
position
I
has
have
been tabled.
I have a question.
Yes,
Is this
Susie.
Susie?
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Do you have the money in your budget to do this?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
And tell me, did your Board of Health approve this or vote on this?
Yes, they did. We had a special meeting on June, I can look at the date, the end of June. And again, it was their directive at that time to move forward with the salary increase. However, at that time, I did not move forward with it because we were still trying to figure out if we were going to hire an office manager position. That position was tabled until the FY24 budget process that'll start November, December, January.
Mhm.
So with that being said, yes, the Board of Health gave me the directive to move forward with that. So
Thank you.
there is money in the budget. So I do not feel as a department manager that this needs to be tabled.
Okay, the question that I've got is this was a motion to restore 10.5% wage increase. We don't have an actual resolution saying that that would only be a 5.5 or a 5% wage increase for those employees on top of what has already started as of July
It's a
1st.
total of 10.5, correct? It's a total of
Right, and we
10.5.
don't have anything that separates that out as a written resolution that we would sign, such as the ones we did for the sheriff's
So
department
it's
and
my
for the
understanding that
secondary
would be
road
taken care
department,
of.
that would be taken care of by the department head.
No, Shannon gave me that information, so I don't understand why there seems to be disparity between.
There isn't, what
process
we're
here.
asking, what I'm asking for is an actual resolution be written that we can sign that says that the pay increase is 5%, especially if it's retroactive to July 1st, because you've already received a 5.5%
Correct.
increase as of the 1st of July, just
It was-
like all
It was
employees.
my understanding that Shannon would get that in your packet from the correspondence that she and I had, so.
Okay,
If that was a
so
communication issue on my
I
part,
don't know,
then
I guess I'll ask,
we need to rectify.
I would
that
ask
solution.
Shannon.
Because it was my understanding, according to the correspondence that she and I had, that this would be effective on the August 15th payroll. So,
Do you have any data on the salary surveys? Because I called the HR director at the hospital and asked her the ranges, and we're right in with what they do out there, and our benefits are better than theirs.
it is really
and
isn't the time to have this discussion. The Board of Health has taken action on this item.
Right, but I think it'd be helpful for us to see the actual data from the salary surveys.
I'm gonna
I
ask-
think we've already seen that, Dee.
Yes, I agree. So Darren, I'm happy to get that for you, but it was my understanding that it was gonna be made effective August 15th, according to the correspondence that Shannon and I had. So if I drop the
Okay,
ball,
it's not August 15th yet, and the only thing I'm seeing is just the minutes from the Board of Health meeting on one side,
right,
and then
wondering-
the matrix numbers that were asked for on the opposite side of it.
so,
So,
and you know that the matrix has not been implemented. So
correct.
what do you need different than these minutes? I mean, that's a legal document. These are official minutes from the Board of Health's meeting. So that's my question. I don't know that you actually have to have a resolution.
I need a
separate from these.
resolution that looks like this to go along with it.
I'll type it up and get it to you. So there's not a problem.
Okay,
So we can still implement that hopefully on the 15th. So can I have a copy of that? Because I've never had to write a resolution before. It's always been taken care of prior. Because I have different sets of things that I do as my own board.
So Darren,
yeah,
this is Susan. So are you saying we need the resolution so it can be signed?
Yeah, so we can put it on for next Monday.
And so what is, the holdup is the fact that it's just not done. We can put it on the agenda for next week.
I'm
Is that
actually gonna,
correct?
Susie, I'm gonna interrupt you. I'm gonna go talk to Shannon to see if she can type it so it can get signed and move forward at today's meeting. Would that be all right? Because you got several other agenda items to get through.
here's this.
Let's
Thank
just
you.
put it on for Monday.
No, I would rather get it done today, Dee, because I've got some out of town business I need to take care of next week. So I'd like to have this typed. It shouldn't take her very long. She's got the data. And see if she can do that for me before you get done with this meeting.
It's up to you, Darren.
Well, we'll wait until she gets that typed up
Thanks. I
and we'll
But
appreciate
address
it's not,
it today.
Darren, it's not on our agenda. Can we act on it?
Yeah, it is on our agenda to be discussed and considered, salaries for public health employees.
Right, but doesn't it usually say resolution for? I just want to make sure it's done correctly procedurally. And we don't have an attorney on here, so.
The item for the secondary roads was, let's see. Discuss and consider certification and step increase for secondary road employees.
Okay,
So it doesn't say anything about resolution. I'm
Okay.
just saying that normally we have a resolution that goes along with those kind of things. One needs to be typed up, one needs to be in so that it can have the signatures of the Board of Supervisors on it, okay?
Just to clarify, she's working on it right now. So moving forward, this is not a practice that the health department does. So we just go off of the board minutes. So for future reference, I'll make sure to have it in the correct format for you. Thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to allow and disallow homestead and military. I believe that's tax credits as recommended by the assessor. I've got Mark in here with us. The assessor was not able to attend today. He let me know that yesterday and asked if Mark could come in as treasurer and let us know what's going on with this. and who we're doing this. So, Mark.
Steve's got some here that some documents that you can sign for him to mail out. Assessor, he told me the assessor's office receives applications for homestead credit and military exemptions every year. The office then recommends the allowance or the disallowance of those applications to you guys on an annual basis. So I don't know if you need them individually, but there is each letter.
Okay. All right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 of these applications. Steve assured me that everything is fine. These are ones that have been done in the past. And we've approved at those times. So I would accept the motion to approve or allow homestead and military tax credits as recommended by the assessor.
So moved.
second,
I have a motion from Drish, a second from Sandquist. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Okay. So,
Darren, he also asked me once you sign those, if I can have the badge to take up to his office to mail out.
okay, yeah, and I got, I'll sign them and then I'm done. And then I'll give them to you this that time. Alrighty. We'll move on then to discuss and consider abatement of interest and penalties for the Walton Club. Mark, I would like you to talk about this and the total amount of money that we're talking about here.
Counting the new tax bills that are going out, they should hit mailboxes this week. The total amount due on the clubhouse itself, $45,460. Of that, $9,865 is interest. There are also another 6 parcels out there that are the cart sheds, the parcel that the clubhouse sits on, the parcel that the cart sheds sit on, and the course itself.
Okay.
They are up to date on every of 6 of those 7 parcels. So there was a zero balance last week on 6 of those 7 parcels.
Okay.
And Des has a copy of the new tax bills. I gave them to her ahead of time, so they would be aware. She did drop a payment off in my office this morning.
So we will be current on everything except the clubhouse. And from now on.
Right, and you've been paying down on that
Right, so
regularly.
when we get the clubhouse cleared, we'll be current from then forward, but I don't see how we can do that without taking the 2 years of the 4 payments that I offered.
Okay. All
Unless
right.
we get a big windfall and everybody wants to dig deep in their pockets for us.
Okay, so this would be just forgiving the interest and the interest and penalties. And that the tax burden is, or tax amount obligated is still there. You said that the other lots, 6 of 7 lots are already covered and zeroed because they're where they're supposed to be. It's just the building itself for the clubhouse.
Just clubhouse.
And the clubhouse sits on leased ground. That's why it isn't handled the same as someone's property taxes.
It is not
Anywhere in
eligible
the
for
county.
tax.
Right, it's not eligible for tax sale. So I would ask for a motion to forgive those as stated by the treasurer.
9865 is the amount.
So
And that's-
moved.
Second,
Okay, I have a motion from Drish, a second from Sandquist to forgive that interest and penalties for the Walton Club. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Aye. All those opposed. Motion carries. You guys are at least to that point.
Okay,
Okay,
so the payment schedule will be the 3 months, every 6 months opposite of when the taxes are due. Okay,
is that what you're
so like
understanding? is?
September, October. So like January 1st, we'll make a payment and then again, July 1st. So it's in between when the actual,
Okay.
so it's the 4 payments,
Okay.
okay?
So moving forward with that, and I don't know if you guys took this into consideration, but effective October 1st, that past due balance and anything that's unpaid is gonna start collecting interest again. And it's at a clip of 1.5% per month. So if a payment's not made until December or January, then whatever was due in September that doesn't get paid is still gonna collect interest.
Is
But
that,
the regular balance will collect interest.
The entire balance will collect interest. All that was done here was the abatement of the 9,865.
So we'll start accruing over again.
Yes,
Okay, I'm okay with that. I'm
Okay.
okay with that.
okay. And the check that she just gave me this morning, counting the new stuff that just hit, that's a third of it.
okay.
We applied $14,000 today,
Yeah, and you had said you were going to do that at our last meeting.
but we couldn't
What do you
figure out
guys-
how to do it without it taking the interest in account into it, so.
We won't have to worry about that because that part's gone. You just need to tell me where you want that to go. If you want it to go towards the past due balance, or if you want me to take care of all of the land the city owns. Because it's 6 of one, half dozen the other.
Take care of our past due on that, because we'll make our regular payments out of,
Okay, and that doesn't affect anything with the city.
All right,
thank you very much.
do we need a resolution to that effect to be signed and kept as record?
Yeah, Shannon will usually have a document that just states what that is. It's I don't know if it's an actual. It's out of the text, it's out of the book that she does or not, but. I believe that's the case.
Okay, so we'll talk to Shannon about that, find out. We have nothing to sign in front of us right now, but we've approved to go ahead with that.
I can look it up real quick now.
Yeah, if you would.
Okay.
That would be great. So signing of that resolution will take place here in just a little bit. We're gonna move back now to discuss and consider salaries for public health employees. We have a resolution now that says, be it resolved, the Jefferson County Board of Supervisors, that the following wage increase in classification for public health department full-time employees shown below be effective July 1st. So Chris Estel's salary will be $88,065 annually. Deb Book's salary will be $61,732 annually. Mandy Lauderman will be $60,110 annually. And Tammy Merrill will be $57,595 annually, passing this 9th day of August 2022. So do I have a motion to accept this resolution as read?
So moved.
I have a motion from Drish. Second from Hamilton. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
I'm gonna abstain, and my reasons are because we gave them a 3% higher than others last year. And we were told at that time that would be it. They went from 40 to 37 hours a week. I've called the hospital, I've called other public health departments, and we have been right in the ballpark on this. Currently, the administrator makes $10,000 more than Henry County and Wapello County, and this will take that up quite a bit. So I think with our overall compensation, the others also, I know the hospital has like a $2,000 to $3,000 deductible on their health plan, and we don't. The county covers that. So I really think the overall compensation is good for the Monday through Friday, generally work in hospitals, it's shifts and holidays and weekends. So I'm going to abstain.
Okay, we have one abstention.
Can I-
Resolution pass.
Thank
So
you. Derek, can I ask a question though?
about this, pertaining to this.
No, well, it's more of a, no, it's more of a
Okay,
question.
so we will take that at a public comment
Okay. All right,
period of time.
sure, I'll just. wait 'cause I have a couple things, so
All
thank you.
right, next, we're gonna move on to discuss and consider liquor license for This Old Barn. We have a representative here from there, one of the owners. So we have an application, app number 163360 has been submitted to the local authority. Status is currently ready for your review. The corporation name is This Old Barn Venue LLC, doing business as This Old Barn Venue LLC. We have the license number, tentative effective date of August 1st, 2022. And it's a Class C liquor license. Do you have any concerns or thoughts on this, Bart?
The sheriff's office has no concerns with the liquor license now.
Okay, I would accept the motion to approve the liquor license for this old barn venue
So moved.
LLC.
Second,
I have a motion from Drish, a second from Sandquist. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
aye.
All right, all those opposed, motion carries. So we have to reset a second reading of our amended ATV UTV ordinance, which we had on our agenda last week when we were unable to have our board meeting. The new date would be August 22nd, 2022, in order to comply with the 10 and 20 publication date with the newspapers that we need for this. So I would make a motion that we set the public hearing on this ATV UTV ordinance for August 22nd of 2022.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion from Hamilton, a second from
What time did you say?
at 9 a.m. Sorry. Motion from Hamilton, a second from Drish. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. That date is set for August 22nd, 2022. Okay. So let's discuss and consider the lobby phone. I believe that's the phone that's on this level, correct? And it's over near the treasurer's office. It doesn't seem to be used a whole lot anymore from what I've been told. And it, I don't know how to explain it. You cannot call long distance out on the phone. At one time it was used as the telephone here in the lobby, when you could use the public phone to call someone here in town with, kind of thing. But it doesn't seem to have much use any longer. Do we want to retain it in here, or do we want to have it removed?
I don't think it's working at all, even for local calls.
Okay, Abby just told me she doesn't think it's working at all, other than local calls, or even with local calls. So
Does anybody ever use it? I
they
mean,
haven't they haven't for a long time, I know that.
Well, then it probably, I think most people, I don't know. I don't have a strong opinion, but if it's not being used, I'm not sure we need it. I know we put it in during COVID. So I
No,
don't-
that's not the one we're talking about. This is
Oh,
an
okay.
older phone that sits on the wall over by the treasurer's office and
Oh.
has been there for a long, long time. Longer than any of the three of us have ever been supervisors.
Or
It
less.
doesn't sound like it's needed.
Okay, so Susie, what's your opinion on it?
You know, my opinion is that I really don't feel it's needed and we should just remove it.
Okay. All right, because we do have the other one that's next to the front door entrance on the south of the building, that can call anyone here in the building. So I would say that I would like to see it removed since no one's really using it. And Mark just told me that it's probably an older phone than any of us are alive at this point. So I would say that we should probably go ahead and remove it. Could I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Okay. Second. Okay, I've got a motion from Drish, a second from Sandquist to remove the phone that's in the lobby area in front of the treasurer's office. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. So D, you would ask to discuss a new state broadband map.
Yeah, there's a map came out last week. And it's the opioid. I sent it to you and Susie, the website. I don't have it right in front of me, but not the opioid, office,
Yeah.
OPIB, or I don't know what the initials are. I can look it up. Anyway, they want people, you can literally put your own home address in if you live out in the middle of nowhere or anywhere else to see if you have broadband, and they want public input. So if you want to put this on again next week, I can bring the information and we'll have done that by then to experience it, but we need to get the word out about this so that people participate, because I know one of the comments we've had as we work through broadband is that previously it's gone by census blocks, which is not an accurate reflection of individual homes or businesses, whereas now they have the capability to do that. And so it will be able to go in there, put your own address in. And I think there's a way to find the speed for your upload and download speeds too. So just, this is an awareness thing, and it's from the state through the broadband grants that now they're going to base this next round on a new system rather than the old census blocks.
But this is a voluntary type of
Correct.
thing that you're talking about.
It's
that
all voluntary,
homeowners
sure.
can-
But it's a way
And-
for the public to give input to the state to say, your maps are wrong, I don't have service, whereas you say I have service, or vice versa.
Okay.
Yeah. So Dee, do you think it would be better if maybe we would let the radio station know in the newspaper, so this can
Right.
get the word out to the people, because there are not many people listening here today.
Right? No, that's why I put it on here, thinking maybe
Yeah,
they'd
I'll
pick up
give
on it.
you a copy of the email that she sent to me with the link on it
Absolutely.
before you leave the office today.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, if you guys give me the information, I'll make sure it gets out there for the public.
Yeah,
And I'll do that before you leave today.
Okay.
Okay? All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike.
I just wanted to
chill.
point out that in the project that we're doing, we do have the figures on what the coverage will be when it's in place, and it'll cover every home in the county with speeds at 100 by 100 or faster. And you know, these statistics I submitted to you guys way back
Yeah,
are really pretty strong. They're the strongest of any county that we're going to be covering with this project for Jefferson County. So it's going to be, coverage is going to be excellent, and that's what will be coming up, you know.
okay. Did you have copies though for the three of us?
Yeah,
With you?
I do. And,
Okay, we'll take those and I'll make sure that Dee and
yeah,
Susie-
you've got the email as well, but I thought I'd print it. Are you the?
Yeah.
I'm the news director for the radio station. Thank you, sir.
All right. So we at least have it double covered, and we have it so that it can be printed out as well if we need to from the email that you sent.
Dee, is this the OCIO map or the?
yes,
Is it in coordination with the national one?
it's the new way that they said, there was a press release on it last week. And it's the new way they're gonna look at the next round of grants based, and they want the public's input so that, you know, if the past they've said that you have service at your house, you can actually go up and put in your own address and see if you have the service. And I think there's a way to see what the speed is too.
Yeah, I looked at the national one and it's got the speed and the providers for each location, but it was still pretty grossly inaccurate. But I know they're working with Connected Nation and various ways to get this up to date and way more accurate, because they really, really do need it. Because when providers like us report, it's blanket, and we, you know, like with wireless, you may not, you know, the wireless is there, but you may not be able to get to a specific house. We have a broadband mapping system now that we're basing these statistics on, where you can click on every single house and it'll tell you that, but on the broadband maps available publicly like that, it's not nearly, it's just, it's not accurate. So they really do need this. So it's.
Well, and it sounds
Yeah.
like that's a good reason for the public to put in their own and get that input in that way to the IOC or
OCIO,
OCIO.
the
That's why I
Office of
can
the
never
Chief
remember.
Information Officer.
Yeah, but anyway, that's the same thing, Mike, and you can go on the OCIO website right now and type in an address and then go through that,
Yeah,
the
what is
rhythm,
it?
but you have to be in your house to do that. If you wanna, or whatever address you're trying to test, because then there's a way to, I guess, to test it.
Interesting, yeah. I'll look at that one, because I was looking at the national one. I wonder if they're gonna be tied. I would imagine they would tie them somehow. But one might be based on the other.
Well, it is the state.
Yes.
So you
I
never,
think they're trying to figure out who still needs broadband in the state. And they're trying to get the public's input now.
okay.
That's good.
All right, so we'll move on to make committee reports. I didn't have a committee meeting within the last 2 weeks. Dee, I don't suppose you did.
Yeah, I had Pathfinders and they're looking for a part-time byways coordinator. And I had Area 15. And that was it.
Okay. Susie, did you have any committee reports? Susie? We must have lost her. Okay, so hearing no committee reports, Susie, are you there?
Darren, this is Susie. I did not.
Okay. All right, thank you. We'll move on then to public comments. Chris, you had said you had a public comment.
I want to give you guys an update, but I just have a clarification on the Robert's Rules of Order. So I don't know all the Robert's Rules of Order, but it's my understanding that you only abstain when it's a potential conflict. Otherwise you vote no. Is that not correct? I think that's something that needs clarified, or I need to find clarification on that.
Okay, we'll talk to our county attorney
Okay.
about that.
Yeah, I just, that's my understanding, but I could be wrong. So that was, so I want to give you guys a quick update from public health if now's a good time.
Okay,
So I want to let you know that on Tuesdays, the month of August, all day Tuesdays, we're offering vaccine for children, the back to school shots for kids. People need to make an appointment, and I shared that information on Facebook, and the nurses did. I was gone part of last week, so they did the radio spotlight when I was out of the office.
is that also with adults yet too? Or are
so
you not doing them for adults?
we are still doing walk-in clinics. We're doing COVID walk-in clinics during that time as well. Yes, we are. Yeah, absolutely. We're just trying to grab the kids before they get registered and get off to school. A lot of times kids get their kindergarten shots. They can get kindergarten shots after the age of 4. So we don't see a mad rush for 5-year-olds because they're taken care of a little bit earlier. So call the office, make an appointment. It just works out better for the parents and for us too. So we're not overflown and have a big overflow in the lobby there. Monkeypox, I wanted to talk a little bit about that. I'm sure you guys have seen that in the news. At this time, I can say this, we do not have, we are not participating in any follow-ups as the health department for monkeypox cases. And that vaccine is not to be given unless you've had an exposure. So there's instances where there's individuals that have had monkeypox or they've had an exposure, or there's been healthcare providers that have had an exposure. So this is not a vaccine that you can just roll up and say, hey, I want to get a monkeypox vaccine. So
Has it been here?
I can say that we're not doing any follow-ups right now. I can say that because that part of that information is still protected, but I can say that. I wanted to let you guys know that I'm working with 2 Masters of Public Health students. They're working on our community health needs assessment survey questions. So we've been working lots of hours on that. So we're not to the point to release the survey. It will be open to all Jefferson County residents once we get the questions. Once they get the questions written, they're doing literature review, and it's part of their, they're doing it in kind. So I'm going to see if we could maybe pay them a small stipend for all the hours that they've done. That's going to be on our agenda for our next meeting at the Board of Health. But So that'll be coming. We'll have stakeholder meetings for different demographics of the county at that time. I participated in the Alcohol and Tobacco Coalition meeting yesterday. Pat was in and out. He was a little late because he had court and then he had to jump off again because he had court. He's a chairperson for that committee. That committee is going to be looking a little different moving forward. I know Kitty Vogel from CETA is retiring in September, so that'll be her last meeting. It was also discovered that our schools in Jefferson County did not participate in the youth survey. It's like a screener that asks specific questions about mental health, substance abuse, alcohol use, those kinds of things. So we'll be looking at that and to see what we can do with our school partners to get them to participate in those questions. It won't be again until, I think it's the fall of 23. Let's see, the other thing I want to let you guys know is I have been, and I continue to be one of the public health appointees for the legislative subcommittee for ISAC. So I will be out of the office, I don't know what week that is, we're in the calendar, the
24th through the 26th
Yeah.
is the ISAC conference.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
Coming
on
up
the
this month.
23rd. Yeah, because we have our legislative meeting that day. So anyway, so public health departments will be bringing forward some legislative objectives. I don't know if there'll be a policy statement or if they'll be brought forth as legislation. And the other thing is, as some of you know and some of you don't know, the Iowa Department of Health and the Iowa Department of Health and Human Services merged effective July 1st. So we're still trying to figure out responsibilities, who's responsible for what, and there'll be lots of changes. There's already lots of changes at the state level. So there'll be more to come, and we know that it trickles downhill. That's all I have unless anybody has any questions.
I got a draft organization chart of that through the mental health.
Yep, the mental health or the whole thing, Dee?
It's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Have you
I
seen
looked
that
at it.
yet? I mean, do you want me to send that? And it's a draft. I just got that a day or two ago.
Oh, no, I've been looking at it for months. And it continues to be changed and revised, and lots of things are happening upstream. So, but thank you for the offer. No,
Have you been able to give input into that process?
yes, numerous times. And I did participate. I was one of the public health directors that was involved with the hiring of the new state physician. He has accepted the position. I can say this now, because it's out there. He's accepted the position, and I believe he'll start in October full time. So there's changes at the state level as far as a state epidemiologist versus as a state board of health physician. So they'll be working out those kinks. But I was the only local public health director that happens to be a nurse that was involved with the interview process. So anyway, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
More public comment?
Well, I've got a drawing here that I think we have a copy of, that I added some chicken fat soup.
Okay,
That'll show our plan to light the rock.
okay.
As you,
Then the connection into the electricity will be on the west side.
on the west side, and then it'll be, won't be disturbing any cement or anything like that, be bored underneath.
Right,
There's a position for 3 lights.
here, here, and here.
Yeah, that's
Around it.
approximate, you know, I mean,
Mhm.
and
Right, and I see
Rodney.
where you would bore underneath the sidewalk at this location.
yes, Rodney Nelson, and I went over that last Friday. That was his recommendation, and I
Okay,
figure he knows a lot more about it than I do, so.
so when they bring the dirt to put in around underneath the rock for
Yes,
the plantings, is there gonna be any more brought so that we won't have tripping hazards here at the edge of the sidewalk?
Yes, the landscaper has been informed that it's ready for him as suitable, because the landscaping will be built, will be in around the rock there.
Right.
So it'll probably be after the drought has been considered to be over.
Well, that may not be for a
And
couple
I-
of years.
And I told him that we would probably, there'd probably be some yard, you know, to get the yard back in shape after the concrete and everything. And then I'm not sure what Rod would have to do to put the lights in, but I'm sure there's gonna be some disturbance.
Right, right. So,
But,
the
just
concrete out there looks really nice. I know.
I
it
thought he
was
did a very good job.
Garrison.
Yes,
Concrete that
Uh-huh.
did that, and would have been nice to have a little bit of notice that they were gonna come that day, but because we had no idea. It's nice that we're getting an update right now about what's
yeah.
gonna
Well,
continue. from
seeing
here.
as you voiced a concern, I knew that I had furnished this drawing to you
Mhm.
prior, and with the concrete, it was just my oversight that I just hadn't said, well, that's when they're gonna start. Because I wasn't expecting them as soon as they did anyway.
Well, yeah, you would expect that it was gonna be sometime towards the end of this month. to
Yeah,
begin
they
with,
were-
and so,
They
like
were
I
about
said,
a
it
month
took us all
ahead,
by
yeah, and
shock.
when he called me up and said, hey, can I get started on that? And well, what the heck? When a guy can do it, he can do it, you know?
That's right, that's right.
So, yeah, I think we're getting along, after we get the lighting in, then putting up a plaque like thing to our major donors and things like that, and some signage from like off of the highway, and
Mhm.
those are some of the odds and ends we got to clean up yet. I think we're coming closer to the end.
All right, sounds good. It's a good update. Thank you. Okay, anybody else with any public
I
comments?
have a few short things.
Okay.
I want to update the board and the public on our concrete project, our replacement project.
I drove out by there, things
So-
were tore up.
Yes, it's kind of a mess. We're trying to keep the public, informed on what we're doing. Currently, the east side of the Law Center is closed and the front north parking lot is closed. We do have some parking behind the Law Center and on the southeast corner. We have a jail lobby on that southeast corner that people can come in, request anything that they need to do business with us. Our front door was reopened Saturday morning at 6, so that's all been replaced. So if you can find a parking spot, you can still come in through the front door. So we're accommodating everybody. I want to remind the public, call the 472-4146 if you need any help, either getting in the building or doing business with us. So I want to make sure we put that out again, and it's probably going to be a couple weeks before we reopen everything, because it's a minimum week before you can park on it after it's poured.
Yeah.
So everything they're doing right now looks great. So we're going to continue progress on that and get it all done. A couple other things, we were able to use our ICAP grant to replace 10 fire extinguishers.
Good.
And also a 24/7 stool chair that sits in our control room within the jail, because somebody is sitting in it around the clock. So we're able to use that grant. We are accepting another grant coming August 18th from the Greater Jefferson County Foundation to update some surveillance equipment. So that's all I have, and thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it. Anyone else have any public comments?
Hey, Dan, this is Susie.
Yes, Susie.
Would you care to share the Fun and Sun open house that you attended?
Yeah, I would. That was a really good time. Those guys had a pretty high number of people that came out and visited Sun and Fun. And I think the crowd was estimated around 300 people that showed up that day. I personally witnessed at least 3 people purchasing vehicles while they were out there. They also had several vehicles out there, motorcycles, that are looking at being serviced, which is something good that Fairfield has back now, because they do oil changes and general service on many different types of motorcycles and brands of motorcycles. The ATVs and UTVs that they have on their showroom floor are pretty nice. They have some vehicles that are for lease only, and other vehicles that you can purchase outright from them. They have a whole list of different types of vehicles that they carry out there, and you can find that by going out to Sun and Fun Motorsports or searching them on the web to get their website. They had a good meal, sweet and saucy was brought out by them to feed everybody that came in and gave addresses. They gave out T-shirts to everybody that came in and signed up so that they knew who was there. They had a nice little ceremony. The owner of Sun and Fun spoke for a little bit. Josh Larrabee spoke for a little bit. And then Paul Gandy, in the place of Mayor Connie Boyer, who was not able to be there, spoke for just a little bit. But KTVO News was there, and I'm sure that's already been broadcast on them. And overall, it was a pretty great time for everybody that came out and was in attendance. And I was pleased to be there. I was asked, probably a month ago, to be ready and available on August 6th to be able to go out for the grand opening. And so that's why I attended. Jefferson County was also a partner in the building of the building that they are currently in. It's my understanding that they were interested in another lot that was out there, but after they were shown this particular shell building that we had, they considered it for quite a little bit of time and then decided it was a better move for them to buy a pre-built building and then modify it to suit than it would be to build completely from the ground up. And it's estimated that the total value after all of their improvements and opening their new business is going to be in the $3 million range that they put into the community here. That's going to help out both Jefferson County and city residents from throughout the county as well. So it was a really good time. Anything else? Is that good enough, Susie?
I think that's wonderful, Dan. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, you bet. All right, hearing no more public comments, I'll move on to allow claims and approve reports.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion from Drish and a second from Sandquist to allow claims and approve reports. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I would accept the motion to conclude the meeting this morning.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion from Sandquist, a second by Drish to close the meeting this morning. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
You got all that?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dee.
Aye.
Thank you, Susie, for joining by phone.
Aye.
Okay, I want to put some out again.